The man was born with superpowers. With his bare hands, he could bend a spring with a temperature of 1,000 degrees Celsius straight. Then, under the astonished gazes of the crowd, he used his hands to forge the spring into a sharp steel knife. With just one swing of the knife, the iron block instantly split in half. It turned out that the man had once been the champion of the World Blade Forging Championship. In one competition, he defeated his master. His master passed the blade forging company to him. But the next day, news came of his master's death. It was because the man had an older brother. He was jealous that the man inherited the company. Not only did he kill his master, but he also falsely accused the man of causing his master's death. However, the man truly believed that he had killed his master. Filled with guilt, he handed the company to his older brother, and he began a life of wandering. Many years later, the man, with the scrap metal he had just collected, arrived at Smith's blade forging shop. Smith was out today on business, so he asked the man to sort out the scrap metal. At that moment, a woman came to ask Smith to repair a knife. The man glanced at her casually and immediately recognized that it was his master's knife. The man quickly kicked the woman out. The woman outside panicked instantly. She mistook the man for Smith. So she hurriedly explained to the man she was the master's daughter. Many years ago, after the older brother inherited the company, he tricked and framed the entire master's family. This caused the woman to bear a debt of $10 million. So, the woman wanted to participate in the blade forging competition to win the prize money. This prize money would be enough to pay off her debt. But to enter the competition, she needed a good knife. Surprisingly, the woman didn't wait for the man to open the door. Instead, she met the older brother's son. The older brother forced the woman into massive debt. Every day, he sent his son to demand money from her. Originally, the man didn't want to open the door, but then he suddenly heard the woman scream. He immediately burst through the door. The man calmly picked up the master's knife. With just a casual grip, the broken knife was instantly fixed. Everyone was astonished. The older brother's son immediately recognized that this forging technique was the exclusive skill of the blade forging champion from that year. He was immediately terrified, and he quickly left with his subordinates. The woman hurriedly thanked the man, thanking him for fixing the knife, but the man shook his head and refused. He hadn't actually repaired the knife. He had just used brute force to put the knife together temporarily, and he was not Smith. He was just a homeless man. The woman was instantly filled with despair. If she couldn't win the blade forging championship, she would not only lose her master's company, but she might also be sold by the older brother's son. The man pitied the woman's situation. In the end, he agreed to repair the knife. So, the man followed the woman back to the master's house. Coincidentally, Smith was also there. It turned out that the woman's mother had invited Smith to repair the knife. Smith placed the knife on the table. He was about to pick up the tools to repair it, but the man stopped him. The man advised Smith that this knife shouldn't be repaired this way, but Smith didn't believe him. He was a top 50 blade forging master in the world. He didn't need a homeless man to guide him. But the next second, the knife was ruined by Smith. The woman was utterly desperate. Was there really no way out? At that moment, she didn't know yet that even worse things were about to happen. The older brother's son arrived at the woman's house. It turned out that just now, the son returned home and immediately told his father about the man's blade forging skills. Upon hearing this, the older brother felt something was wrong. He immediately instructed his son to go again and probe the man's identity. So, the son brought a top-tier blade forging master to challenge the man. He promised the woman that if she could defeat him, she wouldn't have to repay the $10 million. The woman decisively accepted the challenge. Unbeknownst to her, the son was actually forcing the man to act. As long as the man used his forging skills again, he would definitely be the champion from that year. The competition involved forging knife blanks. Each team sent 2 people. The team whose knife blank was the hardest would win. The competition quickly began. Smith and the woman were on the same team. Their first step was to select the materials to forge the blade. Surprisingly, the man watching from the side suddenly pulled a spring from a trash bag. He told the woman to use this spring as the forging material. Everyone was extremely dismissive upon hearing this. Anything pulled from the trash pile can't be good material. But the man told the woman that the spring contained the toughest steel material. The woman chose to trust the man's judgment. An hour later, it was time for the competition to end. The top-tier blade forging masters sent by the son began showcasing their knife blanks. Each one was incredibly sharp. Then, it was Smith's turn. Smith took out his knife blade. He then swung the knife with great force. The knife sank deeply into the steel. His knife cut deeper than all the others. Smith was extremely pleased. But at that moment, the man said that Smith had already lost. Even though Smith's knife cut the deepest, in fact, the knife had already broken. Smith pulled out the knife and looked. And it was really broken. Now, only the woman's knife remained. The woman didn't dare to approach it. So, the man took the knife for her. The man, without any protection, reached his bare hands into the furnace. The intense heat burned the man's mask, but it didn't burn a single inch of his skin. Under the watchful eyes of everyone, the man once again displayed his magical blade forging skills.